everyone, I'm Tarini Sood and you're watching another episode of The Making Of. Our guest for today is a trained Japanese chef who is passionate about Asian food. You know him by the two popular restaurants he owns along with his wife, Seefah and The Blue in Bandra. We welcome Chef Karan Bane. Hi Karan, thank you so much for joining us today. It's so good to have you on the show.
Thank you so much for having me there.
So Karan, can you tell us something about your first interaction with food? Did you always know that you wanted to be a chef?
So actually, it was never decided that I'll be a chef. For me, pursuing as a career was always I wanted to be a chartered accountant, but somehow I got through the entrance of hotel management, and then I thought like, okay, it sounds something different, and let's go for it. So that's how when I entered the college, the most fascinating part about it was food. And then it's so interesting to working on the all the practicals that we do in the college. So that's how I started bonding with food and enjoyed cooking every day.
Now, I know you've worked in a lot of restaurants and you've been chef for lots of hotels, etc. I want to ask you, what is the most important experience that you've taken away in all your years of working with hotels and restaurants?
So the most important thing in hotels and restaurant, if you want your restaurant to stand out, the most important thing is quality and consistency. So that are the two factors that you always need to keep in mind, and that's the one thing that I always taken from my experience before, is that it's all about quality and consistency.
Now, how did you decide to first open Seefah? How did the idea come to you?
So, as you know, the Seefah restaurant is run by me and my wife, Seefah, with the restaurant is name behind her. So we both were working in Four Seasons Hotel Mumbai. So that's how when we left the job, we thought like, what's next for us. So we had two choices: either go somewhere in another country or and start working there, or if you have to stay in Mumbai, do something different of our own. So that's how the whole idea of setting up our own restaurant came to our mind, and that's how we made Sifa.
Now, when you plan your menu for your restaurant, say at Seefah, if you ever have to have new additions on your menu, what is the process by which you find those dishes? What is the kind of experimenting that you do? Can you elaborate a little bit more into the process?
So our menu is all about Thai and Japanese, as you know.
Yeah.
So it's all highlighted the traditional and authentic Thai and Japanese dishes. Like in Thai, we have something like green curry, your pad Thai noodles, your spicy minced chicken. In Japanese, we have those donburi, Japanese curry, okonomiyaki, and huge range of sushis what you can find in any Japanese restaurant. So that is what people come here from. Talking about innovation and doing new things, we are always looking for new things as when we travel. So if you see that the promotions and the special menus what we do in the restaurant is all about our travel. So like before this lockdown happened, we had gone to Vietnam, and we love the food so much that we actually came up with lot of ingredients and all the techniques what they do, and we try to do a Vietnamese promotion here with their ingredients itself. But unfortunately the lockdown happened and
Yeah.
it couldn't go. So it's more about our travel, the places we go, the things that we see, we thought that we can create it back to our restaurant.
Now, what would you say has been the biggest challenge that you faced in your career so far?
So the biggest challenge for us has always been, it's more about staff,
Yeah.
always about staff. So the challenge
Okay.
is always about staff. Getting good staff is very important. Keeping that way so that they can stay with you forever is also very important. So the
Yeah.
biggest challenge in the end, you can't run business on your own. You need a lot of
Right.
hands to do all their jobs particularly. So it is important to have a right team, and maintaining that right team is one of the biggest challenges anyone can. I mean, at least I had faced.
Now, I want to understand also, how do you market your restaurant in terms of social media? What do you think is the most important medium to reach out to your audience?
So, market, as you know, there are many platforms where you can promote your restaurant. There are many sponsored ads which you can do. Social media right now is very important for each and every business that is being set up. It's not only the hotels and restaurant, but each and every product that needs to go through social media, because it has been social media has been with everyone, and it has been with, I mean, it has reached all the part of the country. So you can't ignore the social media fact. But I feel that there is one more platform which is publicity, which is done by people who come at your restaurant. So I think what people talk about is also very important, as important as social media,
Right, so that's like you're saying word of mouth is also as important as
as
social media.
important as
Yeah.
social media.
Now, I want to ask you, so for all our young chefs out there, everyone who's passionate about cooking, how important would you say formal training is? I mean, can anyone get up and cook, or do you advise that people actually go and they formally train and learn?
I mean, to master any skill, cooking, as you know, is an art, or is it's an skill in itself. And to master it, I mean, you need some sort of guidance. You need some sort of formal training before we, or either me or Seefah, whoever, like they have went through a college, they have went through a formal training. For example, not everyone would be able to go back to the colleges, but like if you ask my mom, like she cooks very well, but her training itself was done by her mother,
Right.
the guidance which was given to her by her mother. So it is very important that formal training in some sort, like, is required. I mean, I mastered Japanese skill because I had my master Japanese chef who taught me the skills. So it is very important to have go through a formal training to master your skill. Where the cuisine can be anything. It can be a Indian, it can be a regional,
Yeah.
it can be any foreign cuisine, an Italian. But I feel that to understand that cuisine very well, you need someone to guide it. You need someone to train you. So I
Yeah.
think yes, it is equally important.
So, Karan, you would have heard about Maggie India's collaboration with India Food Network to come up with the Apna Food business campaign. Now, this is where Maggie India is actually offering home chefs a chance to start their own food delivery service or their own online food channel. What do you think about this campaign?
So this is a very good campaign that is being started by Maggie India. It's a great initiative taken to promote the home chef. I am sure there is a lot of talent in each and every household of India, whether whatever the food they make or any regions. But until now, there were many platforms to for other sort of like dance, singing, music. There were many platforms, but something related to food, there was no platform as such which can highlight the home chefs or the people cooking at your home. But this is something new which Maggie had come up with, and I mean, it's really good thing to start and motivate people.
Karan, if you had one piece of advice to give to young chefs who are just about starting out in their careers, what would that piece of advice be?
So, if you're talking about starting your own business, I would rather say that if you want to do your own business, first you should get a nice formal training, which is very important to set the base. Second, get experience in your hand, which is again will take your business to next level. And then third and most important thing is get your facts and figure right, whatever you do, and that's how you can have a successful business in whatever you do.
Yeah. Now, Karan, before we wrap up this interview, I have three quick questions to ask you. Now, if you could just answer them in one word, whichever word comes to your head first. Should we go?
Yeah.
What is the one food that's your guilty pleasure?
Indian sweets. I mean, it can be Rasgulla, Gulab Jam, anything. I just loved Indian sweets.
One food trend that you saw this year that you absolutely hated?
This year, I mean, I hated that the thing that was trending on internet during the lockdown was that dalgona coffee, and it was like everywhere. You open the internet and you see it.
If you could describe the change in the Indian food landscape in one word, what would that word be?
It is becoming very innovative.
Thank you so much, Karan, for joining us today. It's been lovely having you on the show. For all our viewers, stay tuned for another episode next week.